What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be revisiting the topic of cheating in Modern Warfare, and more specifically Warzone, as well as the future of cheating in Cold War. Now there's actually a couple reasons this topic came up. The first reason is another one of the, I believe it's one of the bigger cheat providers. I'm not too familiar with all the different providers or anything, but one of the big cheat providers for Modern Warfare, they've been shut down. Apparently Activision literally showed up at their door and threatened legal action, and they might even be taking legal action. I hope they are. And the cheat provider themselves, they have confirmed that they are shutting down their cheats for Modern Warfare at least. Sounds like they're going to keep developing cheats for other games, but at least when it comes to Modern Warfare, they are shutting down their cheats. And while this is great news, I also want to be clear, of course, this didn't just end cheating. It's not like, oh, they got the big guy, that's it, cheating is over, there's no more cheats in the game, because that's just not true. This is one provider of cheats. But the good news now is it looks like they're actually targeting these cheat developers and taking legal action, or at least hopefully taking proper legal action and not just filing a cease and desist or anything. I hope they are actually taking action on this and seeking damages. Not so much because I just want to see that person suffer, although maybe a little bit after all the suffering we've been through, but mainly just for a deterrent for other cheat developers. I think it would be great if something like this actually scares some of the other providers and they end up shutting down their support for Modern Warfare's cheats, and maybe make them think twice about continuing their support for cheats in Call of Duty. Now, having said this, that might be wishful thinking. In all likelihood, cheats aren't going to be going anywhere anytime soon, but even if they just reduce the number of providers out there, and they potentially scare a few away, maybe they can at least somewhat limit the cheats or track them a little bit easier because there will be fewer out there. I don't really know. I just know that it's good news that they're doing something about this finally. This is long overdue in my opinion for a company as big as Activision Blizzard. Like, they are massive. They should have been able to get on top of this really quickly because cheats in their game at the end of the day do cost them a lot of money because it pushes players away. I've heard of plenty of people that have been quitting just because there's too many cheats. They're running into too many cheaters, so they don't see any reason in continuing playing. And even for me, a big reason I haven't been playing Warzone too much lately is the consistency at which I'm running into cheaters. It makes it feel like a waste of time even playing. You'll even see at the end of this gameplay, I get killed by an aimbot, and then maybe if there's time I'll include some more footage of a cheater that I spectated the other day. And these games were both in the same gaming session, so it's not like this is a really rare occurrence, it's happening frequently. But this is where the second thing comes up that made me want to make this video, and this is, late last night, Activision confirmed that CDL, the professional league, is actually going to be switching from PlayStation over to PC this year, although it's PC with a controller still. It's not going to be mouse and keyboard, it's still going to be controller only, but they're going to be playing on PCs rather than PS4s. And with this move, they're really going to have to stay on top of cheating this time around to preserve the competitive integrity of their game. And it's not necessarily that I think any of the current pro players would actually install an aimbot and try and use it in competitive play. The problem is, the question will always be there now that they're on PC, whereas on console, which is what the competitive scene in Call of Duty has always been on, at most, some players might be suspected of using something like a Cronus Max, which, while still cheating, and I'm still against, it's nowhere near the level of an actual aimbot or wall hack. So I hope with this move of competitive play over to the PC side of things, this is going to come with an actual proper anti-cheat system this time around with Cold War, and I hope that obviously carries over to Warzone as well. On top of this, I'm really hoping they keep up with targeting the developers themselves and trying to attack the problem at the root, instead of just trying to contain things by banning players that are cheating. Obviously, I hope they keep doing that as well, but I think it's more beneficial for them to seek legal action against the people that are creating these cheats to really try to get control of the problem, starting at the root of it. So for the future, looking forward with Warzone and Cold War, I'm really hoping they do a much better job of trying to control and contain the cheating situation. Because as somebody that's always played Call of Duty on console, which I'm sure many of you guys are exactly the same as me in that sense, it was a very jarring experience this time around with crossplay enabled to suddenly be running into aimbots and wall hacks quite frequently. Like I said, on console, or at least the current generation of console, at most, all you would typically have to worry about would be a Cronus Max or something similar to that would allow somebody to have like a rapid fire with a semi-auto, or some kind of an anti-recoil script, which apparently just helps mitigate recoil. It doesn't actually 100% eliminate recoil because there's always some randomness involved. and all it's doing is affecting your inputs. But that's something I wanted to discuss as well. With the next generation of consoles coming, hopefully the consoles will be able to do a better job of detecting devices like a Cronus Max, for instance. Because as far as I'm aware, if the console itself doesn't pick up on these devices, it's very difficult for the game to actually tell that you are using some sort of a cheat, because all they're doing is modifying their inputs. They're not modifying the code or anything like you would be doing with an aimbot or a wall hack. It's only modifying the player input. So the game itself is just registering this as a normal player input. As far as I'm aware, they're able to get around detection by adding a little bit of randomness to the input so that it's not always the perfect input over and over and over again. So that's a real problem that I hope they find a way to address in the future. I don't even know if it's really viable to address that issue. And at least it's not nearly as bad as wall hacks or aimbots on PC. But it is still a form of cheating, and it would be great if they could find a way to get on top of that. But at the end of the day, my main concern is how they're going to be handling PC cheaters that actually have things like aimbots and wall hacks. But with that, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. Not too much else to discuss. Seems like good news overall. Hopefully they continue with this, and that wasn't the only cheat provider that they targeted, and they will be going after more and more of them, because I really don't want yet another year of all these aimbots and wall hacks. Of course, I'd like to know what you guys are thinking about this in the comment section down below. First up, are you happy they're doing this? And second, do you think it really will make a real difference to the whole cheating situation in the game? Just let me know those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.